Thank you, Migrant Leaders, for the invitation. It's really an honor to be here with all of you. I felt already inspired by what you share, Alia. So it's really impressive, your career. So anyway, quick introduction about myself. My name is Kelly Cuesta, and today I work as a senior marketing and growth leader in the technology industry. But if a bit of background or storytelling about myself and my story, how I came here. So if you had met me when I was 15, 16 years old, I definitely couldn't have described my future this way. I didn't have a clear career path. I wasn't thinking about technology, leadership, nothing like that. And I certainly wasn't thinking about speaking internationally or traveling because of speaking or mentoring others, as I am part of the platform for migrant leaders as well as a mentor. So I was, simply trying to figure out what came next. And that is the first thing I want to remember. You don't need to have your whole life figured out today. I grew up in Ecuador in South America. I was raised primarily by my mother after my parents' divorce. And alongside my mom, I was fortunate to be surrounded by a strong network of women, my aunties or tias, as we call them in Spanish, who play a really significant role in my upbringing. They taught me that, some of the most important lessons of my life, like perseverance, leadership, hard work, and above all, financial independence as a woman, right? And those lessons were particularly important given the fact that I was in this society in Ecuador, South America. So I grew up in that environment. Still, Latin America, is incredible, rich in culture, community, and resilience. However, it can also be a society where traditional gender expectations still shape opportunities for women. So, from an early age, I saw the importance of women having the ability to make their own choices, build their own careers, and achieve economic independence, right? So looking back, I didn't realize it at the time, but those women were my first mentors, women in my family. They showed me, what resilience looked like long before I encountered the war in that, in my professional life or in a leadership role. So long story short, I wasn't thinking about a career in technology because nobody in my family worked in tech. The role models around me were in very different professions. My family included teachers, nurses, entrepreneurs, and small business owners. So that is why I am a mentor today, and I still am a mentee, because I think it's really important to be able to connect with others that they are not in your comfort area, to be able to grow yourself, right, as a professional or as an individual. In terms of education and early careers, so what I can tell you here is that even though right now I work in marketing for technology businesses, in the past, it was not like that. I mean, when I was studying high school, all of that, so I studied in Spain. Then I started my career here in London 12 years ago. So in Spain, what I did, it was physics, chemistry, and graphic design. I really enjoy understanding how things work, solving problems and working with numbers, but also being drawn to creativity and design. So anyway, at that time, I thought I had to choose between being analytic or creative. However, right now I see these two things were helping me to shape my career and where I am right now, right? So one of these biggest lessons I learned is that your strengths don't have to fit neatly into one box. Sometimes the things that make you different become your greatest advantage. And that is what I can see in my own career. That is not a career, linear career, but is a kind of a squiggly one, to be fair. So my first roles were in marketing. I wasn't leading teams. I wasn't managing big budgets. I was learning at the beginning, learning how businesses work, learning how to communicate, learning how to collaborate with people. And these are the skills that still help me every single day, and even a decade after I started my career. And one of the biggest kind of turning points in my career was moving into technology. At the time, I didn't have a technical background. I'm not an engineer. I don't know how to code. Back then, we didn't have platforms like Vibe Coding to help us to build, MVP app or even a website in just a few days or even in hours. However, I did my research. I started working with marketing agencies, and then I moved to multinational businesses in marketing, right? And this is to share that it doesn't matter where you start. What is important that you are able to enjoy learning and never giving up when you feel things are getting hard, like, oh, I don't know how to do this. You learn by doing, as they say, but also, connecting with others, like here during this event or other opportunities that you have to connect with others. So in terms of in terms of communities, I was feeling kind of like a bit of lonely where I started my career in technology because there were no people like myself. I didn't see people in senior leadership roles that they were female or coming from a diverse ethnicity or race background. And that is why I started a community in Spain when I started my career over there. It's called Latinas in Tech Spain, and it's focused on helping women in technology to accelerate their career progression, like networking, mentoring, and different workshops to upskill. So that was another way that I was able to connect with others by a community. And that is how I have been able to progress in my career as well, working for different multinationals organizations. If I could go back and speak to my younger self, these are the 5 things I could say. And just to wrap up my quick introduction, so it could be stay curious. You don't need all the answers. Build skills, not just a CV. Communication, adaptability, and resilience will always matter. Build your network before you need it. Relationships are one of the best investments you can make. Don't be afraid to start before you feel ready. And last but not least, your career doesn't have to look like anyone else. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to lose confidence. And as human beings, we tend to do that. However, every person in this room has a different journey ahead. So yeah, that is about me, my career, and I hope that you feel some kind of inspiration with this. And I'm always keen to have conversations with you guys, either mentors, mentees. So happy to connect. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kelly. That was really fascinating and really interesting to know about your early life and how women, your mother, your tias were so influential in helping you develop the skills that you still use now in your life and in your career. So bigging up for the mums and the aunties, very important.